If you bend your back, people will ride your back. But if you stand up straight, people can't ride your back. So that's what we did. We just stood up straight and said, I am a man. Don't you let nobody turn you around.
On February 1st, 1968, Ethel Cole and Robert Walker, two African-American sanitation workers in Memphis, Tennessee, tragically lost their lives while seeking shelter from a rainstorm. Due to the pervasive segregation laws of the time, they were denied access to shelter in nearby buildings. So they sought refuge from the downpour in the compactor area of their garbage truck, which led to their death. This tragic accident, compounded by the existing racial and economic inequalities faced by the sanitation workers, ignited the Memphis sanitation strike, a strike for fair wages, safety measures, and dignity.
All we wanted was some decency, some dignity. We wanted to be treated as men. So we said that this is it. 1,300 sanitation workers. We all decided that we wasn't going to take no more.
The term boy was widely used as a racist insult in the United States. It reinforced the systemic oppression of black men by denying them the dignity and respect of adulthood. This dehumanizing language was central to maintaining racial hierarchies. Black sanitation workers, often addressed as boys by their white supervisors, fought for recognition and labor rights through the iconic slogan, "I am a man."
In the late 1960s, black sanitation workers faced significant economic hardships. Despite working over 40 hours a week, they were paid starvation wages. At the time, these workers earned as little as $1.60 per hour, which was not enough to support their families, especially given the dangerous and grueling nature of their jobs.
Our day was awful every day. We had these tubs that we had to put this garbage in. You put that tub on your head or your shoulder, whichever was comfortable for you to bring it out. Most of those tubs had holes in them that garbage would leak all over you. By the time you got home in the evening, you had to pull out those dirty clothes where maggots had fell all on you. I had maggots run down in my shirts, and then maggots would go down in my shoes. And we worked in the rain, snowed, ice, and rain. We had to. If we didn't, we'd lose our job. They said garbage man wasn't nothing. It was awful. Sometimes you cry. Sometimes you get mad. And get up in the morning, and I say, I ain't going to work. And then see my kids, and I look at them. And then I said, then I had to go to work because that's the only way I could feed my family.
Sanitation workers largely fought to dismantle systems of oppression and create a more just and equitable society by demanding fair wages and safer working conditions. They emphasized their essential role in maintaining the city and promoting public health. During the strike, they ceased working to demonstrate the city's dependence on them.
The strike lasted for 64 days. They were met with strong opposition from leadership, white citizens, and police force. The city government viewed the strike as an unjustified disruption rather than a legitimate fight for civil rights and labor equality. The city deployed police force against peaceful protesters, using intimidation tactics such as tear gas, arrest, and violence to suppress demonstrations.
I feel that we can still have a nonviolent demonstration and that we will have a nonviolent demonstration here in Memphis. The important thing is that we are not going to be stopped by mace or by injunctions or any other methods that the city plans to use, and I think they're making a grave mistake because I think this will bring much more support nationally and otherwise to the movement.
The Memphis sanitation strike nearly reached a resolution on February 22, 1968, when a sit-in by sanitation workers and their supporters pressured the city council to vote in favor of recognizing the union and recommending a wage increase. However, Mayor Loeb refused to accept the decision, asserting that only he had the authority to recognize the union, and he firmly refused to do so. This refusal highlights a broader failure of leadership, as elected officials have a moral and legal responsibility to serve all members fairly, regardless of class or race.
Despite Mayor Loeb's relentless efforts to end the strike, they continued to march and demonstrate peacefully. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. warned that those in power would resist change, using violence, legal barriers, and intimidation to maintain the status quo. He also emphasized that the march to freedom is long and arduous, because systemic oppression did not end easily. The strikers knew that the justice is never going to give in freely. It requires continuous effort, sacrifice, and resilience. These courageous men sacrificed their jobs, wealth, and health for social and economic equality.
On April 3, 1968, Dr. King delivered his famous "I've Been to the Mountaintop" speech at the Mason Temple in Memphis. This speech was a passionate call for solidarity and justice, inspiring workers and supporters to persist despite their struggles.
Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Tragically, the following day on April 4th, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated at the Lorraine Motel. His death caused a seismic blow to the movement. Determined to honor Dr. King's legacy, sanitation workers remained steadfast in their strike. Their perseverance attracted national attention, intensifying pressure on city officials to address their demands.
On April 8th, 42,000 people led by Coretta Scott King, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and union leaders marched silently through Memphis to honor Dr. King and urge Mayor Loeb to meet the union's demands. In front of City Hall, the American Federation of State, Country, and Municipal Employees vowed to stand with the workers until they achieved justice.
The Memphis sanitation strike of 1968 was a pivotal moment in history, connecting racial justice and economic rights. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. supported the strike as a part of his Poor People's Campaign. His assassination in Memphis made the strike even more significant. The movement gained national attention, strengthened the bond between the civil rights and labor movements, and led to better wages and working conditions.
12 days after Dr. King's assassination, on April 16th, negotiators reached an agreement that allowed the city council to recognize the union and secured higher wages for the workers.
Despite the hardships faced by the workers, their resilience emphasized the importance of standing up for one's rights while reminding those in power of their responsibility to act justly and swiftly.